as a movement coach, I work with lots of different people from lots of different backgrounds, whether it be a professional dancer working in a top ballet company, or a recreational footballer or tennis player, across lots of different sports, from skiers to wrestlers to boxers to weightlifters. I try and work in a way that connects the body to build strength and then play with movement possibility. Especially in a time like this where we don't always have access to some of the things that we feel like we might need. We don't have access to the gyms at the moment where we can get inside a boxing ring or be able to do pad work with a coach. How can I practice, or how can I take my training out of those contexts to learn something about my body to then be able to throw back into those contexts and those disciplines that we want to improve at? I look at balance, stability, coordination, speed, power, and how we can generate those things outside of what we love to do. So in the past, my background as a dancer, I always tried to discover how I could push the thing that I love to do when I didn't have access to a dance studio. So looking at how could I improve my pirouette as a ballet dancer without having access to the nice floors or the experienced ballet teachers that I was used to being able to take class with. Without their knowledge and their expertise, what could I do to help me improve that? The essence of a pirouette is we can break down into lots of different things. We have to have good balance, good ankle stability, good control in the shoulders to keep them above the hips. So I started to look at how I can work with those things to help dancers outside of the studio to then improve them when they went back into the studio. Then I started to get excited about all of these other sports growing up that I used to love taking part in, and how can I start to try and understand those sports a little bit more, and transfer my skills being a coach and looking at the body and having an understanding of how the body moves and the patterns that it takes to see if I can help improve that athlete outside of their sport to then enable them to take it back into their sport. Why would a martial artist work with a movement coach? All sport is movement at the end of the day. No matter whether we're on a football field, kicking a football, or we're in a ring, putting on a pair of boxing gloves, or on a judo floor. All of those sports involve movement. So if we have a better understanding of our body and how it moves, and if we can have better control over how our body moves, we can then directly transfer that back to the sport that we love to do and that we want to progress at. Often where I like to start, if we think about where the body is at its most stable place, it's lying down flat on its back. And that's because then we have our maximal surface area attached to the floor. So when we come to standing, if we can then think about creating a maximal surface area within the foot, can we then enable the foot to generate more stability within the floor? With that more stability, can we then generate more power? If we look at boxing, for example, and coaches are talking about the shift of the foot and the transfer of the weight and the heel coming down and being off the ball of the foot, when you're throwing multiple combinations of punches, your weight is always shifting between those two places. If we've got a broader surface area for those feet to work on, can we then generate more power within that? If we've got more spread within the ball of the foot, can we generate more power than if the toes are scrunched up underneath us, giving us less surface area and more instability with what's attached to the floor? The thing that's attached to the floor is always the thing that's going to be able to generate the most amount of power if we use it to sink into and explode out of. time where we can't have an opponent when we train, can I look at something that helps train my reactions, that helps train my awareness of where I am in space, so that then I'm just as ready as the last time I went into the ring before we had lockdown and before we weren't able to use the amazing facilities that we have and the amazing coaches that we have access to. Is there a way that we can work to keep us as alive and as reactive and as spatially aware, so that then we haven't gone back a step, or that we may have even enhanced our awareness of where we are on the mat or in the ring? I would never say that one way of training is better than another. We have multiple access within the world that we live in now, and we tend to think of training as such a small specific thing, whereas movement is this vast bubble of possibility.